Hey! Good, how are you doing? Well, this is gonna be fun, huh? I was afraid to write it back to you. I was gonna say WT.
Yeah, right. You never know what the lawyer requests.
Just for the fun of it. Yeah. And so I don't know what my down is.
You try, you do your best, and then you say.
Sometimes I don't. How are you? So you are living, you're right in, you're right. Oh my goodness. So you knew that all along. You were keeping it under the. Keep your cards close to the vest.
Until the COUNSEL. No, we're doing anything, but I.
So you have this today on both properties?
Well, we, everyone's.
Right in my bed. I mean, that's a nice.
Every now and then I sit in one of these chairs and I go, am I really the shortest person in the room? What's going on there? Make sure you get the name tag.
That's what I was doing.
And yourself. Sir. Just note that you're refusing. Okay.
Bless. We will go to roll call. Ms. LeBron.
Mr. Barnes.
Present.
Ms. Cantor.
Here.
Ms. Casperson is absent. Mr. Davidoff.
Here.
Mr. Dodge.
Here.
Ms. Hall.
Here.
Ms. Kerrigan. Mr. Winograd. And Mr. Williams.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. LeBron. As you might notice, there is somebody sitting at the table that you might not recognize, and most of you probably do. But I want to welcome Matt Hart, finally, as new town manager. He started yesterday, so he's 2 days in already. So experienced, seasoned town manager. No, in West Hartford. He is a seasoned town manager, but new to West Hartford. So we just want to take a moment and say thank you for being here, and we're so excited to have you, and welcome to West Hartford. And we're thrilled to work with you. We also have a couple of changes that you might be noticing, and I think Matt might talk more about that. We have Patience retiring on effective Friday, actually. Patience Hale, who has worked with the town for 27 years, and she has worked with multiple town managers, many mayors, and she has been an incredibly wonderful addition to the town and has serviced many residents when they've come in very concerned about issues, and has answered so many questions and has dealt with so many of you out there. So we're going to be a little brokenhearted to say goodbye to her, but we are also very, very excited to welcome Brittany Stevenson, who has started in the office and overlapped with Patience for the past week, and I know Matt will introduce Brittany formally in his manager's report. So, but we're very excited to have her, and we welcome her. I also want to just take a couple of minutes to talk about, we lost a principal, a longtime principal in the from West Hartford High School, Hall High, actually. It was my principal, and his wife actually was my guidance counselor at King Philip Middle School, Robert Dunn. I think you've read about him in the paper. There's been quite a lot of coverage, but he died July 18th. He was 89 years old, and he is survived by his beloved wife of 59 years, Gladys Dunn. One of the things that really struck me about Bob was I would always hear about his philanthropic ventures and his and the incredible, also the incredible enrichment that he found from travel. But one of the things that he did was he was a he was a Rotary Ambassadorial Scholar. He received a scholarship enabling him to study in the University of Birmingham in England from the University of Connecticut, where he received his master's degree. And he, ever since that experience, felt very strongly about supporting international education and donated a scholarship to Rotary, an ambassadorial scholarship to Rotary. And I have been the witness of hearing those ambassadorial scholars come back and talk about their experiences. He has actually changed the world, and by touching many, many of his students, but also by the incredible philanthropy that he showed, and the trust that he had that the Rotary would pick good ambassadors, and how that would help to repair our world. And we're so grateful and for all of his service to the town of West Hartford. But he was a longtime member of the YMCA. He chaired the West Hartford School Community Organization. He was on the American School for the Deaf. He's just endlessly contributed in every which way. So again, our thoughts and prayers are with Gladys and the rest of his family. And that's all I had for now. So we will move on to, we're going to do the number 4, Mr. Davidoff, and then I'll do public.
Madam Mayor, there are no minutes to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. Public forum, this section of the town council meeting provides you, our citizens, with the opportunity to address items on the town council agenda, those items that we will act upon on tonight's meeting. To ensure that everyone has had the opportunity to be heard and the council can efficiently administer its business, certain rules have been traditionally followed by the council over the years. They are fairly simple. If you are to speak at the public forum, please state your name and address for the record. In the event that you are not from West Hartford or you are not a taxpayer or resident, just tell us and we will entertain a motion motion to suspend the rules to allow you to speak. You have up to 3 minutes to speak, and you are allowed to speak to any item on this agenda that is not subject to a public hearing. So when you do speak, please tell us which item you are talking to and referring to. The only person, we do have a sign-up sheet. The only person that has signed up is Bruce Gold, and I'm not sure what item Bruce would like to speak to. And if,
Speak about something unrelated, about something that happened with a car at my house, and whether people should be protected from cars that go randomly into a house and someone's responsible.
no, but I would be happy to talk with you after the meeting on that, but not as a part of the formal meeting, because it's not part of our agenda. So, okay? But I will talk to you after the meeting about that, if you don't mind. It's a short meeting, so, or so we think. Never know. Let's see. So number 6, is there anybody else that would like to speak to anything on the agenda? No. Okay. Number 6, Mr. Davidoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that we place items 20 through 21, as well as items 23 through 25 on the consent calendar.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. No unfinished business. Number 8, Mr. Davidoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 budget of the Capital Projects Fund by $89,000 for the development of contract plans, specification estimates for Park Road and State Route 501 capacity, safety, and operational improvements.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Hart, we just, in general, are adjusting the plans on this particular project. I know this is your second day, so you don't have all the background information, and we have some staff here to answer questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions on the resolution, but this is a minor amendment, but I don't know if anyone has any questions. No? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, Mr. Davidoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution to appropriate a Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, Assistance to Firefighters Program Grant in the amount of $551,194 in identified town matching funds.
Motion's been made and seconded. Mr. Hart, I don't know if you want to say anything about this one.
Well, just briefly, Mayor, as you'll see in the note here, the application does require a match from the town, which we did budget for in the new fiscal year budget in the CNRE account. Did consult with town staff today, given our concerns about the budget as to whether or not we still saw this as a priority project. And we very much do, because the equipment that we would replace utilizing this funding source, it needs to come offline. So we do see this as a priority.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Mr. Davidoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. During the budget deliberations this year in committee, we talked about the self-contained breathing apparatus equipment and the equipment training to protect our firefighting personnel. And it was determined that we ought to identify grants to procure funds to replace this equipment, as the equipment is outdated and is much needed in the activities of those engaged in our fire department. And I was happy to hear the news when we received the $551,000 grant plus that Chief Allen and those in the fire department administration were able to secure this funds. There's a short, brief history, Madam Mayor, that this has gone back several years looking for this type of funding, and it's really great that with the help of some of our congressional delegation, that we were able to secure federal funds to the town of West Hartford in excess of $500,000, and I think that's very important to note this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Davidoff. I appreciate that. And we do appreciate the help from our congressional delegation. All right, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And actually the next few, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15 are all carry forward and appropriations of grants that have not been expended. So they're very similar in nature. And actually, Liz, I was just wondering if, could you just come up and explain how you do this, and then with the process for the year-end appropriation, just a couple quick statements on that. This is Liz Hewitt. Well, you're going to say who you are.
Is this on, or do I?
Yes, it's on.
Oh, it's on, okay. So the resolutions that you have before you are to carry forward funds that were appropriated in the current fiscal year, but for which the grant period extends beyond June 30th. A portion of these funds have been expended. We are now able, per the terms of the grant award, to carry forward the balances so that they can be expended in fiscal 18. So for example, with some of the police grants, we will be able to continue those enforcement activities in 18 upon approval of these resolutions. We're able to do this part of the carry forward prior to year end, the actual final closing of year end, and it just allows for the orderly progression of our accounting work as we go forward. We are planning to have the year-end close this Friday. Any resolutions related to carry forwards, additional appropriations will be ready for the September meeting.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, so we are going to vote on them separately, but the discussion, unless you have any questions, we're just going to go through. Number 10, Mr. Deva.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution to carry forward unexpended grant funds from the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation for enhanced dial ride service in West Hartford.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, Mr. Deva.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution to carry forward and appropriate funds awarded the town of West Hartford under the Federal Highway Safety Program for the purpose of distracted driving, high visibility enforcement.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, Mr. Deva.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution to carry forward and appropriate funds awarded the town of West Hartford under the Federal Highway Safety Program for the purpose of comprehensive DUI enforcement.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 13.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the adoption of a resolution to carry forward and appropriate funds received by the town of West Hartford from Covanta, Bristol, Inc. in the fiscal year 2017-2018 general fund budget to conduct recycling, outreach, and educational activities.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, Mr. David.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution appropriating a historic document preservation grant from the Connecticut State Library in the amount of $5,000.
Motion's been made and seconded. Ms. LeBreau, do you want to talk about this? Thank you.
This is a grant that our office applies for every year. It's through the Historic Document Preservation Fund, and this project will involve microfilming our vital records in the event that there's a loss through fire or water damage, but also having them on microfilm is very important, and it carries 1929 through 1980. So that's basically the $5,000 grant.
Thank you, Ms. LeBreau. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 15, Mr. David.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of a resolution to carry forward and appropriate $1,800 in the fiscal year 2017-2018 budget of the general fund for unexpended grant funds from the Capital Area Substance Abuse Council for the purpose of substance abuse prevention.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 16 is reports from the town manager. Yes, Mr. Hart.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I've distributed copies of my report, which you should find at your places, and we'll also make sure to post them online tomorrow. I promise not to read it verbatim. So, first of all, and this is an item that didn't write up, my family and I moved into town on July 12th, and it's just been a great experience. You know, the neighborhood's been very welcoming, as has the community overall, and we're really, truly enjoying it. And I also want to thank Peter Privatera, our Director of Finance, for serving as the interim town manager during the month of July. We spoke often throughout the month, and he was excellent, handled many issues, and really appreciate his service in that regard. So now moving on to my report. As the mayor alluded to earlier, we've got a brand new executive assistant to the town manager, Brittany Stevenson, behind Councilor Winograd. Very, very excited to report that she started work last week. Brittany comes to us with some great experience from the Capital Region Council of Governments, as well as Dallas County, Texas, and she's got her bachelor's degree from Baylor University as well. And Brittany's replacing Patience Hale, who's worked for the town for 25 plus years. I think perhaps supporting a fourth town manager might have been too much. I don't know. No, I really don't think that had too much to do with it. But want to thank Patience for her great service and wish her all the best in the next chapter of her life. And both Patience and Brittany have been extremely helpful to me in my first week here, and I truly appreciate that. And Brittany and I are very excited to work with the council and work with our fellow town staff in service to this community. Next item, communicating with town staff. So with assistance from IT, Brittany and I have created a new email for use by our office, and this is townmanager@westhartfordct.gov. And both Brittany and I will receive emails, copies of emails sent to this address. Think it's beneficial to have two of us. That way, we're less likely to miss it. So I would encourage council members and others who are looking for assistance from town staff to send an email to the new town manager address, and we will then forward it to the appropriate town staff for a response. Alternatively, especially if it's a sensitive matter, feel free to contact me on my cell at any time. You should all have that, but I will send it out again. And you can also reach me at Matt Hart at westhartfordct.gov. But really would like to encourage you all to use our new email here. This is a practice I employed in the previous community I worked in, and it functioned quite well. However, if you have a question for Corporation Counsel, you should continue your longstanding practice of contacting them directly, preferably with a copy to me. Moving on to the next item, my initial areas of focus. I'm developing a work plan and a suggested list of goals, which I will submit to all of you for your review and approval. Right now, in my first few weeks, I really need to learn the systems and the people, and I'm spending a lot of time on that. And in order to do that, I will be meeting individually with all council members. It's important for me to sit down with each and every one of you to learn about your priorities and what you see as important for our community. I'm meeting with all of the town's directors, other key town staff, as well as key stakeholders from the community, business owners, university folks, nonprofit leaders, etc. I'll be touring our work sites so I can meet as many town staff as possible. And then other priorities include the status of state revenue as it relates to the town's budget, the Yukon property, and we have various, what I would loosely label, center issues, including the incentive zoning, parking issues, and the entertainment ordinance. And I understand this list will probably change daily, and even tonight, I'm sure some new things will be added. Moving on to the next page, and I just touched on this. So we started a new fiscal year, and soon we will have the results of the previous year, and they are very, we do have a town staff did an excellent job last year in terms of managing spending, and we did finish the year with a surplus, which will be important for the new year we've just entered into. So as you know, the General Assembly hasn't adopted a state budget yet for this year, and state revenue remains uncertain. So Mr. Privatera and we've directed town staff to proceed very cautiously and to refrain from making non-essential purchases. We're also reviewing all vacancies for town positions, and we're determining which positions need to be filled and which could be delayed or potentially restructured. In addition, we're taking a look at all of our capital projects in order to identify potential adjustments there. The longer we go without a state budget, the more adjustments we need to make. And then lastly, and this is also very important, as you know, we need to determine when to issue the bills for motor vehicle taxes. We haven't done that yet. So I will certainly keep you informed on key developments related to the budget, and feel free to contact me anytime. Next item, we're getting a number of questions related to the billing for paramedic services, particularly from Medicare patients. And we actually initiated this program 1 year ago today. And part of the reason in the program, just to back up for a second, so the town began providing paramedic or ALS advanced life support services to the community on August 1st of 16. Previously, those services have been provided by AMR. So one of the reasons why I think we're getting a number of questions at this point is it took some time. It took some time in order for the town to receive its provider status. It took some number of months for that to happen. We have it now. We received it in the spring of this year, but we are sending out bills for service that was rendered in late 16 as well as early 17. So folks are rightly questioning, why am I getting a bill for something that occurred some months back? But the law does allow us to bill up to 12 months once in arrears, once our provider status is approved. I think a second reason why we're getting questions is that previously, when AMR was providing the service, the patient only received one bill. They only received one bill. Now they're potentially receiving two. They're receiving one from AMR for basic life support service, the ambulance, and then they're receiving a second from the town for the paramedic service. So I think that's also causing some confusion. So the chief and I are going to meet with our billing agency. We're going to review the matter in more detail, talk about what additional communications we need to provide to the public, and we will report back to the two council committees of cognizance here, Finance and Budget and Public Safety, and keep you posted. So as you continue to receive questions on this, please forward them to the town manager address, and we'll take care of it. Next item, a community connectivity grant program. Very pleased to announce that today we submitted an application to this program. We're seeking a little over $103,000 to install bicycle signage and markings for our intended on-street shared routes that we identified in the town's bicycle facilities plan that you approved in May of 16. And I want to thank the Planning and Zoning Division and engineering for their good work on the application. And development of your bicycle plan, as you know, did include some extensive public outreach, which was very important to the town. Moving on, the Ridgewood Road improvement project, that's well underway. Our reclamation contractor did finish their part of the work today. The asphalt was reprocessed. We installed a new road base. Weather permitting, paving will begin this Thursday from Tunxus Road to West Point Terrace and take approximately 2 days to complete. So we do need to maintain the detour until the street paving is complete. Following that, our contractor will return for a few more days to complete the curbing and the driveway apron replacements, which are very important to folks, as I'm sure you know, based on past experience. And then we'll install bicycle signage to provide in the bike lanes. And these improvements are really part of a continuation of last year's segment from West Point Terrace to I-84, the I-84 ramps. So this project is funded entirely with town bonds, through our capital improvement program that you approved. Next item, the Cornerstone Aquatic Center. As you may know, it's shut down for cleaning. It's a temporary shutdown that's in place from August 19th through August 27th, and will reopen for business following the shutdown. Also related to Cornerstone, we've got the transition to the new management company. It's now under the management of Health Fitness. They have a new phone number and website. The new phone number is 860-561-8270, and the new website is www.cornerstoneaquatics.org. And we will be distributing new ID cards in September. Would really encourage our residents and users to come into the office to update your membership file and to say hello to our new general manager, Mr. Kerrigan, who is happens to be a West Hartford resident. And not related to our counselor. So that completes my report, Mayor, and I'm happy to take any questions that council members may have.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any questions for the town manager? All right, don't get used to that. All right, Mrs. Hall.
Normally I have a lot of questions, but given that it is so new, I just wanted to formally say welcome, and we look forward to working with you, and you've done a great job with your report tonight, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hall. And I will say, even though it's his second day physically being as the labeled town manager, Matt has been in the office quite a bit to become familiar with lots and lots of things. So we appreciate all of that extra effort. All right, if there's nothing further, I will go on to announcements. Food Pantry needs your help. The West Hartford Food Pantry in the summer oftentimes is low on inventory because so many families are home with their children. The following non-perishable food items are greatly needed: cold cereal, pasta sauce, spaghetti, canned fruit, applesauce, tuna, baked beans, canned pasta, SpaghettiOs, peanut butter. Food donations can be dropped off at the town hall lobby by the information desk from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. Cast your vote for Best of West Hartford. The contest for the Best of West Hartford is on. WeHa.com and West Hartford Magazine are proud to bring you the 3rd annual Best of West Hartford's People's Choice Awards. Show your loyalty and support of your favorite local businesses and services by casting your votes. Go to WeHa.com. Winners will be announced at the August 28th awards show. Special events, Wheels on Wednesdays. Bike West Hartford, Inc. is leading group bicycle rides on Wednesday evenings. All rides begin and end at the Town Hall parking lot outside Main Street, the main entrance, in the rear of the building. Upcoming rides are Wednesday, August 2nd at 6:30, a 4.5-mile family ride. Wednesday, August 9th at 6 p.m., a 15 to 18-mile ride through Bloomfield. And on Wednesday, August 16th at 6 p.m., an 18-mile ride through West Hartford, linking many of the hidden connectors. Please email info@bikewesthartford.org if you have any questions. Then 2017 Sun is Shining Concert Series, Tuesday in August, 6 to 8. The First Church is holding Tuesday night concert series on the front lawn at 12 South Main Street. Upcoming concert dates and bands are August 8th, We Happy Few. August 15th, Still Kickin' and Big City Horns. August 22nd, the Dan Lipperini Quartet. And August 29th, is the Jolly Beggars. The concerts are free. Donations to Food for Friends are welcome. Let's see. Center Street's bicycle event Sunday, August 27th, 9 to 1 p.m. Folks of all ages are invited to take to the streets for a carefree and car-free summer morning in West Hartford Center on Sunday, August 27th from 9 to 1. The town's second annual Center Streets event will close traffic on 4 roads that form a rectangular loop around the central business district: Farmington Avenue, South Main Street, Memorial Road Extension, and LaSalle Road. Ride your bicycle or scooter, or taking a scooter, Mr. Davidoff? Stroll down the street without automobiles. Families with young children are especially welcome. Participating stores will be open and there will be food for sale. Live music will be performed all morning. I passed a couple of children on this last year and they said it was the best day of their lives, so do not miss it. And I guess that's it. That's it. All right, anybody else have any announcements? No? Okay. Reports from Corporation Counsel.
Well, the town manager's making me look bad. I don't have a formal report. But in the spirit of our new town manager and his first week on the job, today is actually my first anniversary as Corporation Counsel and Garmin Newsom's first anniversary as an assistant Corporation Counsel, so happy anniversary to Garmin. We do need an executive session. Item 27 on your agenda is an executive session. It's actually for 3 items, but we can address those when we get there.
Thank you, Mr. Allaire. Is there cake back there? No, just teasing. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Allaire? All right. Appointments, we have two. Mr. Davidoff, do you have those, or?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I move we appoint Kate Farrar as the Town Council zoning alternate for a term ending 12/31/2017, and Andre Tirotin appointed to the Historic District Commission for a term ending 12/31/2022.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, Mr. Davidoff.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move adoption of the consent calendar.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And we are no petitions, and we will be moving into executive session. So we will be back to adjourn. And that we will do no business after the executive session.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, I think we need a motion to go into executive
Oh, I'm
session.
sorry. All those in favor? I'll make a motion. Did you second?
Okay.
I'm making the motion. You want a second? Did you?
You moved it?
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. I just want to touch base with Mr. Cole.
And for the benefit of the public, just before we go into executive session, we may have a resolution to vote afterwards, but it would be under suspense.
Ford. Yep. See you later. Are you from? Al Jazeera truck.
Dedicated fourth estate.
We're going to get you a cot for the back.
Thank you, but now you can do it.
Okay. That's all right, we have a quorum. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to introduce a resolution authorizing settlement of a claim.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. This resolution is to adopt, this motion is to adopt a resolution authorizing settlement of a claim. Be it resolved that the administration of the town of West Hartford is authorized to settle the case entitled Michael Boutiette, executor of the estate of Estelle Tradiac versus Linda Putkonen et al., docket number HHD CV 14-604-9906S, for the sum of $47,500.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Good night.